Hello, fight fans. Another great night in boxing on HBO and Showtime. This is a follow-up video to Manny Pacquiao is a fraud that we put out last week, last Saturday after the Sergio Martinez fight. And just a couple of thoughts here on why, again, Manny Pacquiao is a fraud. And let's not discount anything that Manny Pacquiao has did. We aren't racist. He's a boxer that's done what he's supposed to do each time he stepped into the ring. So hats off to Manny Pacquiao for that. Every opponent that they put in front of him, he's taken care of thus far, as far as in these last few years since stepping up and fighting De La Hoya. Now, with that said, let's take a look at those matches, and I just want to talk about the level of the fighting, and I want to challenge Pacquiao fans to say, hey, Manny hasn't fought an up-and-coming star. He hasn't fought a very, very, very live dog, somebody that's on a winning streak, somebody that has dominated the last few fights and came in and really looked super coming up, and then he's totally dominated them. Let's take a look at his last few opponents. Let's start with Oscar De La Hoya, who had lost to Floyd at 154, mind you. And everybody can say it was a split decision, but Oscar didn't really do anything in that fight. So they sucked Oscar dry, and then they beat him up. And Freddie Roach knew him. Okay, all right, great job, Pacquiao, for that. His next fight, Hatton. What do we have to say about that? We talked about that last week. Floyd had already knocked him out. So that was the second one of Floyd's opponents that he had already beat. Okay. Hatton was weak. He had already been defeated. He was already given the keys to show how to drive this car. Third, who did he fight? Oh, Cotto. Okay. So Miguel Cotto, after he gets destroyed by Margarito, and he gets a easy decision as far as they gave him the decision versus Clottey. Clottey, who is a defensive fighter, no offensive all, didn't look great versus him, lost his trainer, and then he goes in there and walks through Cotto. Okay, he didn't fight Cotto before he fought Margarito. It would have been a totally different fight, and any fight fan knows that. I'm just arguing facts here. Third, let's go to Clottey. Come on, man. I mean, Clottey, who is a nobody, and I like Clottey, but he has no offense, and he fights the same way that the Mexican fighters do, which I said last week. He just comes straight forward. All defense, doesn't really throw any punches. Then Margarito, who had just got beat the heck up by Shane Mosley, who was off for a year, who came back and looked bad versus another guy, a nobody. And then all of a sudden he gets to fight with Pacquiao, another guy that stands in there, doesn't counter, doesn't do anything different, and he's just a target. And so they've done a great job with picking his opponents, and that's all I'm talking about here. When has he fought a guy that's just stupendous? Now let's take a look at Andre Berto, since they say we won't talk about Sergio Martinez since you guys say he's too big. Let's just look at Andre Berto. Andre Berto, 26, 27, and wherever he is, knocked out the guy in the first round tonight. Sure, he's not proven, but I think fans would respect that more because he is a person that hasn't lost. He's a person that's very quick, very fast. I don't think Pacquiao has faced a faster guy than that. And we know that will be interesting to see. You can't say that as Pacquiao fans, and his weight's not too crazy. And then, of course, there's Floyd Mayweather Jr., but we don't have to go into that because we've been arguing about this the whole time. And I also believe that the Floyd Mayweather-Berto fight will be a good fight, too. Now, Paul Williams could come down to 147, but you guys are going to say he's too tall. That would still be a live dog, and you're not going to tell me that you think Pacquiao is going to knock out Paul Williams the way Sergio did. So I'm going to follow up this video, and I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about the truth about why Floyd Mayweather has not stepped in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao is still a fraud.